My name is Kamogelo Molaba. I studied a Bachelor of Economic Science at WITS. I then did an honors in Economic Science at WITS, and lastly did a master's in Economic Science, also at WITS. I did my high school at Wihlewuzile Secondary School in Thokoza. It was a really cool time of my life. There was a couple of challenges, and one of those is that in matric we sometimes not have a teacher. So we had to take it upon ourselves to study for that specific subject. What that taught me is how to step up, that sometimes you might not have the necessary support, but you just need to push through it. My role at Nedbank is that of an analyst in the interest rate risk and the banking book team under balance sheet management. I started in the Nedbank Quants Graduate Program. My first rotation was in the retail credit lab, where I started learning how to code in SQL and also just understanding the retail landscape of the bank. I then moved on to balance sheet management, strategic capital management, whereby we worked mainly with economic capital. And lastly, my third rotation was in the team that I currently went permanent in, which is interest rate risk in the banking book. My typical day starts with checking in on our dashboards and reports, whereby I go in and I check our balance sheet strategy, where we look at our designated risk, see if it's effectively hedged. If it's month end, then we move on to validating some of our models. This is where we get results for our key metrics, that being net interest income and the economic value of equity. So we're checking month on month, are we seeing any changes? Are we still within our limits? If we're not within our limits, we'd have to go back and investigate. Is it a systems configuration issue? Is it data issue? Or has there been a shift in our balance sheet? Then we work with projects. What project we work on depends on what we're expected to deliver in that quarter. An example I can give of is, I know now we are looking at whether to switch or split a bond. It means we run all possible scenarios for both possibilities, and we'd have to ultimately end up with a recommendation on whether to switch or to split. My highlight came when I went permanent. I was involved in this one big project where we were moving asset and liability management systems. This was not just switching off the one system and switching on another system, but it meant I had to go in deep, understanding the underlying assumptions of models, understanding the models themselves and how it connects with the group's balance sheet. Seeing the impact this has had on the bank and our balance sheet was rewarding in the end. Nedbank is a very human-centric company. In the first month that I was in the bank, we had a talk with the then CEO, Mike Brown. We also had a chat with our CFO, Mike Davis. So you have access to these people that are very senior and executives in the team. Everybody sees you as human. I think Nedbank is a company that quite cares about its people. When I was in the graduate program, I had the honor of being part of the CSR team. We had to raise funds for 2 homes, and then we'd had to plan a handover day. And I think receiving feedback from the workers at the children's homes to say, you're one of the very few companies that take the time to spend the time with the kids. It wasn't just a donor that came here, left these things and left. We really would spend hours with them, playing games with them, just making sure that they have a very fun experience. Transition from high school to varsity was very difficult. Where I come from, we did English in Zulu. There was that language barrier. Moving from language barrier, you now have lecturers. These are not people that will follow you around on whether you did your homework. They get into the room, they teach you, they say what they have to say and they leave. Now you're in a big lecture room where you can't just raise your hand and ask a question. I struggled a lot with confidence, and which is something that I quickly had to learn. I struggle a lot with catching up with some of the content because it's a lot of content in such a short space of time. I would tell my 17-year-old self to be confident with what you know, to also be confident with what you don't know. Many a times I would have the opportunity to ask her questions, but I wouldn't because I was not confident enough to not ask this question. I thought, okay, maybe it's just me who doesn't know what's going on. Recently, I have been enjoying tennis. I also just take up hobbies. A weekend with friends, having a braai. Yeah, I think that's what I do for fun.